Hi, we're the Crazy Writer couple.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Horton Newton, and this is Neil Newton, the other half of the Crazy Writer couple. Go ahead, honey.
Yes, thank you. We just were recently on WCBS down here.
No, WVLT. It's a CBS
yes,
station.
Yes, a CBS station. WVLT in Knoxville. We were interviewed by Casey Wheelis.
And I got to talk about my books. And we got to talk about Dragonfly Publishing. Go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
And I got to talk about my book, The Railroad.
And I got to talk about Stolen Gypsy and Carved Wooden Heart. I didn't get to talk about Chattanooga Choo Choo. This is one of my novelettes that's also available through Electric Eclectic Books.
I'm about to, and I said this on the show, but I'm about to finish another book.
Yeah, he's working on another book, and so am I. I'm working on another book, too.
And it's a science fiction book about...
My book is another horror suspense thriller with a little bit of romance taking place in the Pacific Northwest. It's very, very scary. I've really taken horror to a new extreme with this one. Go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
It's a post-apocalyptic science fiction book that takes
It's pretty
place
good.
on Long Island.
I've read parts of it. It's really interesting.
Yes, it is very interesting. I think it will be definitely something that people want to read.
Yeah, it's good. You'll really love my new book. It's called Murder on Blood Highway, and it's actually based on true events in the Pacific Northwest. I did a lot of research on it. There's a highway in British Columbia where First Nations women have either been found murdered or they've disappeared, and I kind of took that and incorporated it into my story. So it takes place in British Columbia. Oh, I'm sorry, you were saying something.
I don't remember what I was saying.
Oh, that's okay. I'll go on then. If you haven't read Stolen Gypsy, I think you'd really enjoy it. It's appropriate for all ages. It's okay. It's a thriller romance, but it's mostly a thriller about a young gypsy girl who finds out that her parents aren't her parents after there's an accident and they're killed. And she's being pursued by somebody who's trying to kill her, or actually more than one somebody. It's got the Witness Protection Program, the FBI, drug cartel, and a very sexy Irishman. Of course, you've got to have the sexy Irishman. Carved Wooden Heart. Just a second. They really want to hear about this. Carved Wooden Heart is, it's more than just an erotic romance. It's really about a young woman. I consider it a contemporary woman's story about how her life changes through a series of events. But it's a really good story. I've gotten really positive reviews on it. Chattanooga Choo Choo, as I said, is one of my novelettes. It is available through Electric Eclectic Books and also through Dragonfly Books. It's sort of a noir story in that it takes place a little bit back, probably in the late 40s, early 50s, and it's a mystery and a suspense, and like many of my stories, it has a twist at the end. You were saying something? The Railroad.
Yeah. Well, no, I wanted to say that the book that's coming out within the next 6 months is called My Hearth, and it takes place on Long Island. It's a science fiction, and it has to do with women taking over towns as sort of witches. There's a disease that leaves them as psychokinetic, and but anyway, that's going to come out. This is the Railroad.
This is the one he talked about on WVLT.
Yes. And I actually was in 9/11.
It was terrible. I was in Tennessee and he was in New York. It was terrible.
I was down on the subway when the towers went down. That
I couldn't reach him on the phone.
Inspired this, and it's about that, but it's also somewhat about child abuse custody laws.
And it's a thriller too, and a romance.
It is. It is. Thank you.
I like to think it's one man's journey through his PTSD, because after the towers came down, of course, he became an alcoholic, and a lot of crazy things happened.
Yes, that's true for a lot of people who did go through 9/11.
Yeah, it was really awful. When he first moved down here, it was really terrible. He's still a little bit weird.
Yes, I guess that's true.
But that's okay, because he writes really good books.
Thank you.
Anyway, we're going to wind up now. We want to say Happy New Year to everyone, or whatever holiday you happen to be celebrating. Again, this is Neil Newton, Neil Douglas Newton. I'm Elizabeth Horton Newton. We're with Dragonfly Books. You can contact us through dragonflybooks@outlook.com. We're also the Crazy Writer couple, so check us out on WVLT TV in Knoxville.
And on Facebook.
And on Facebook, and on Twitter, And Dragonfly Books and I are also on Instagram. And again, Neil has a new book coming out he's working on, and I have a really, really good thriller coming out. Bye.
Bye. Happy New Year.